Hey there, boys and girls. This is Lady Vixen here. I've got some awesome stuff to talk about today. The truth about Skyclad. Um, I just couldn't help myself. This is like one of those quote-unquote taboo subjects that many people are actually very uncomfortable talking about. I get questions about this all the time, so I said, you know what, I'll just go ahead and make it into a lesson. And that's actually what I very well did. So I'm actually going to read you an article that I wrote myself and give you a little bit of comments here and there. But really, don't worry about it too much. First of all, Skyclad is actually a very misunderstood form of ritual garb. Many people think of ritual garb as being cloaks and robes and stuff of that nature, when in actuality, ritual garb in and of itself can actually be plain old street clothes. There's a lot of things that go into ritual garb. You've got your tabards, stoles, the whole 9 yards. But don't worry about that too much. I'm actually going to do a very in-depth video lesson on ritual garb with examples later on down the line. But anyway, Skyclad pretty much means clad beneath the sky, or naked beneath the sky. You are as a person. This practice actually arises from the idea that psychic energy is restricted or inhibited by the clothing that we wear, especially clothing that's tight and very binding. Kind of like those emo kid pants that you see these days. Though many people no longer believe this, it's still actually a very common practice. Although when it comes to working in covens, Skyclad is actually not common at all anymore. It's actually more or less frowned upon to actually be working in a coven, even if it is inner circle, by many different traditions that are out there. Let's see. Something else to consider is that we're born naked, and we are only pure when in that state, and that's just one view. So if we approach deity in the nude, we are actually laying aside preconceptions and prejudices of the physical and mundane world to actually reveal our true and inner spiritual selves. We're not going to be restricted any longer by our clothing and by what we see ourselves as in the physical world. Many people see themselves as being too skinny or too fat. Well, when you lay aside your clothing, you no longer see yourself as either. That's the whole concept. By setting our clothing aside, it can actually be said that we are laying our social distinctions and social self-deceptions aside as well. This allows us to see and be present in the light of the great goddess. A really good example is the Sahus of India, who are holy people who actually strut about naked to show that they have actually moved beyond the outer form of being to the inner essence of being, meaning that they no longer see themselves as being restricted by the clothing that they wear to try and measure up to the standards of what society dubs as being normal anymore. They've moved beyond what we see in the mundane world to that of a higher and more spiritual level. Also, when you think about it, back in the day, most clothing actually was not very productive or practical for dancing or dealing with fire. Hence another reason for Skyclad rituals. Though a very ancient custom, it's not very common in modern Wiccan practices. Many Wiccans only go Skyclad when doing solitary work or with a romantic partner. A good example of this is the fact that I myself have gone from coven to working solitary and only on occasion work with a coven on very rare occasions. Also, I actually do ritual work Skyclad with my partner, who's actually kind of wandering around over that way somewhere. Gotta love coffee. Anyway, many people actually have issues with their bodies. Working Skyclad can actually help one become not only familiar with their body, but it can actually help you accept your body. Sometimes clothing and fashion impose many false and unrealistic ideas on our relationship with our bodies. And by accepting our bodies as they are, we can actually break free from the socially imposed ideas of how we should look and how we should dress. There are some people, and there are many people, who actually use clothing as a mask. placing their physical self-esteem in external items of dress, such as, you know, wearing very elegant and very elaborate style dresses. Jeans and a t-shirt if you're like me. The main thing to keep in mind here, though, is that these external items are purely illusionary and not always under our own control. And it's also key to remember that even though many of us have issues with our bodies, we need to set that aside and accept our bodies as they are when we go before our deity. Our deity will see us as we truly are. It doesn't matter if you're clothed or not clothed. Many people just feel more comfortable when they're doing solitary work to be skyclad, because they feel a more personal and a more one-on-one feeling, if you will, with their deity. Basically what we're doing is we're laying ourselves out there. We are accepted as we are by deity, and we should be very grateful as well as happy for the love that we receive. And it doesn't matter if it's God from the Christian Bible, it doesn't matter if it's Shiva from Hinduism, it doesn't matter what religion you follow. This can actually be applied to a bunch of different religions. And that's actually really all I can think about to talk about at the moment. I will be leaving a link in the sidebar for those of you who would like to check out the whole reason why I made this video. There will be more, and hopefully I will be able to find some time to actually go in depth on actual ritual garb with some examples. So, stay tuned. This is Lady Silvervixen, and I'm signing out for now. So, y'all be careful, be safe, and especially if you're on the East Coast, be safe because of all the snow. So, be blessed, my children.